see dope people.
Welcome back to another episode of Dope People. I am your host, Brooklyn's favorite polymath, Hayden Green. We are taping right in the middle of Kwanzaa. Today is Nia, so purpose, and I found my purpose because I want to introduce you to some dope people, and that's what this whole podcast is about. Now, you may be wondering, what's this term dope? Well, it's a colloquial term that really means somebody interesting or something interesting, and I really love the term. And so I know some dope people, and I want you to know some dope people. And today's dope person is really, really amazing. I've gotten to know her over the years, and I'm really, really happy that she could take some time to carve out and sit and talk with me. So put your hands together for Stacey Givens, everybody. Stacey Givens. Hey, Stacey,
Hey
how
now,
are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Life is good. Life is good. Like I said, we are taping this right before New Year's, so like I still got. I'm a little bit scruffy. I gotta save all of the cleanup for like the New Year. I'm Caribbean. That's how we do. Like you gotta come in fresh and clean for the New Year, right?
I know that's right.
So, Stacey, we start off the podcast by really getting a litmus test from my guests, like how they consider dope or what they consider to be dope. So, who is the dopest person that you've met or know, or it could be like in one time, but who's the dopest person you know?
Mm, dopest person I know. Wow. So I want to say it was like 2018 ish. I got the opportunity to meet President Obama. I have a
Nice.
photo with him. I was working for a company at the time, shocker, in eyewear, and we had the opportunity to meet him, and it was absolutely amazing just to be in his presence. Like, how is that not the dopest person ever, right? Like just to be among someone who has led this country, and led it well.
Now the question remains. Now the question is, did you get a chance to say anything or get a word in?
I was the last person to leave him as we were walking out, so my only words to him were, "Thank you for thank you for serving well." Like it was just such an honor just to be in his presence, honestly. And then after that, there was like a whole session, and he did a interview on stage, and there was like only 100 of us in the room. So it was just kind of this intimate setting just to hear him talking about his career and all he's been through and leading the country and all of that. It was an amazing opportunity.
Nice, nice. Listen, just being able to say that in his ear is more than a lot of people have gotten that opportunity for. So, kudos to that. And Obama's a really dope choice. Yeah. I remember we he was this was before while he was still campaigning with McCain, and he was coming to Columbia University when I worked there. And they shut down the entire place, right? Secret Service comes in, like he wasn't even
Hmm.
president yet. So I barely got to actually see him go by, but we got tickets for the inauguration to be in the stands, and my wife was pregnant at the time with our first child. It was cold, and it was a madhouse in DC at that time. And one of my frat brothers saw me, and he was working as one of the chief security people, and he saw us, and he saw us all bundled up, and this pregnant woman with a coat that don't rightly close and everything, and shuttled us into the stands, and we got to see Obama walking by, because he got out of the car and was
Hmm.
waving to people, and we was nervous.
Hmm.
I was like, please don't get out this car.
Right, right. That whole experience, like I think all of us were like real worried. Like, okay, y'all all right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, definitely a dope person. Well, Stacey, let me tell you why I think that you are dope. Um, so when I started this podcast, the germination of it kind of happened at a conference that you are part of the planning committee for, which is ACUI. And at that conference, I was like, I have an idea for a podcast, and I want to interview you as a dope person. So, fun fact: you were the first person that I interviewed for Dope People.
What?
I'm good. Hey, everybody, we are here with I See Dope People. I am your host, Hayden Green. I have with me one of the dopest people that I know, and her name is Stacey Givens. And Stacey, when you dope is an old school term.
Yeah.
When you hear, oh, somebody's dope, what comes to mind? What kind of imagery does it invoke?
Somebody that's just confident, somebody that moves in their purpose. They know who they are, and there's just something about them that's different.
But after I did that interview, I realized that I wanted to do it in a little bit different way. So I was like, all right, we did this first one with Stacey. It was great, but I think that if I tweak it a little bit, it'll fit better in this particular format. Fast forward, we found the time to do it again, to redo our interview. But the reason that I bring that up is the thing that I think that's dope about you. You are a busy woman, very, very, very busy. Whether it is with your job with ACUI, and I know what that job is, and I know the back end of that job, and I know how busy it is. And I know you also have a number of different things that you're also involved in, whether it is podcasting or tracking down the latest eyewear. But like you're a very busy person. But the thing that's dope about you is that the minute anybody says, "Hey, Stacey, I need you for something," and I don't think that you drop everything, but it feels like you drop everything for the person that is asking for your assistance in that moment, and they get your undivided attention. I've seen it I've seen it with me. I've seen it in multiple ways with the association that we are part of. But I've always admired that you are able to say to somebody, "You got me. I'm committed to what I promised you. And even though I have all of these other things going on, you'll never feel like you're secondary to all the other stuff." And so I always thought that was a dope thing about you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. That is something that I endeavor to do. I have this phrase that it is my role, I think, on this planet to amplify other people. Like that is what I want to do. I want to lift other voices. I want to lift other people. And if I can do it and give up my time, then that's what I'm gonna do.
No, absolutely, and I see you living that truth. I'm a big fan of the Tipping Point, Malcolm Gladwell, and so one of the people in that he talks about with the Tipping Point is really a connector, right? And I see you making those connections all the time. It's like, hey, I know this person who does this thing, and they need to talk to this other person who might help with whatever and they should be talking to each other. And I see that all the time, and I think it's really dope, and it's a character that's not common because people want to amplify themselves, right? Like they want their stuff to be, but it takes another step to be like, this will benefit me in no possible way except I get to see these two people be great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that. I think it's one of the most important things we can do for another person is just to be present, show up, and give our best to those people. So I'm like, hey, if I can amplify your voice, trust me, I'll do it.
Nice, nice, nice. All right, well, Stacey, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I want to hear what you're doing that is dope. So stay with us and we'll be right back.
I see dope people.
And we're back with Dope People. Today, my guest is Stacey Givens. I got my Mandalorian shirt on. It doesn't have anything to do with Stacey. It was what was clean. It's at the end of the year. Like everything's in the wash. It's got to be clean. Again, I come from a Caribbean household, so you got to clean yourself. You got to clean the house. You got to clean all your clothes. So this is the last shirt that was clean. And so that's what y'all are getting today. But I got Stacey here with me. Stacey, any traditions for the beginning or end of the year that are customary to your family?
I wouldn't say customary to my family, but customary to me. So some years ago, I look at the year in review and I always have a word of the year. And so I've been thinking about, what is my word of the year? So I don't have it yet, but it's something that's percolating in my mind. So that's one thing that I do every single year. And the other thing is I write down the things that have been challenging or frustrating. I write them on sheets of paper and I light that on fire. There
Burn that
is
baby.
something, yes, there's something about burning those things, like the physical aspect of burning something that has been troubling you or something you're wrestling with. There's a way of, it's just a release. It's a whole thing of releasing the old and being able to bring in the new.
My grandmother used to do that, and I think I need to bring that back into our family. We take a trip every holiday, and I think burning our old challenges might be a great way to start the new year, especially since the kids are getting older.
There you
Well,
go.
Stacey, that's dope, and you're a dope person, and I know you're doing dope things. So I want to hear what dope things you're getting involved in. Now, it could be an episodic thing where you continually do this thing every single week, or this one dope thing that I have done or am doing, and I did it just one time. So what dope thing that should people know about?
So this is new. This is something that's coming up. But
Woo, new news. All right.
last year, somebody said to me, they were like, I can see you launching a podcast because I had a podcast last year. Me and some girlfriends worked on one. And they were like, and I think it should be called Through My Lens. And I said, all right. So that is what I'll be working on in 2025. It will be Through My Lens podcast. I will wear a different pair of eyewear every single episode, and I will talk about how I see the world, how I see love, how I see life, how I see politics, how I see friendship, how I see family, and it will all be through my lens. And then I will bring other people on to get a sense for what do they see through their lens.
I think that is an amazing idea. And it's like I said, I've gotten to know you over the couple of years, and I really enjoy your perspective. So in addition to the work that you do for ACUI, you have a background that informs a lot of the conversations that we have. And so being able to hear your input in some of these conversations that are happening at either the conference or offline is always refreshing. So I can't wait to hear what you have to say in this podcast. I'll be a subscriber. I'm in.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Bring other people.
Oh yeah,
I want other people's
absolutely,
perspectives on Through My Lens.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, Stacey, we end the show with talking about a dope person or a dope moment in history, and the person that we're going to talk about today is not unknown. She's actually quite well known. Is Mary McLeod Bethune. Um, I just recently watched Tyler Perry's recent offering called the 6888, and whereas it was about these women that were that had taken on the task of getting the mail delivered during the World War, it was a scene in there about Mary McLeod Bethune that really resonated with me. I mean, Oprah plays Bethune in this particular role, but it is something that really stuck out to me is that she is in the background to a lot of conversations, right? So everybody knows who she is, but like if you ask for somebody what she did, the most thing that somebody might tell you is that she founded Bethune-Cookman College, right? But there was so much more to her. She created the National Council of Negro Women in 1935. She was the advisor to Roosevelt in 1932 after working on his campaign. But something that a lot of people don't know is she was the only Black woman that was on the committee that created the United Nations. So it is something that is part of her character. Like she does all these things, and much like the things that we talked about in terms of how you move through this world, in the background, making sure that she moved people forward, right? Like advising people, advocating for everybody but herself. So we know her name, but because we don't know exactly what she did, is a real testament to the fact that she was not about like, here, look at me, but look at all of these people that I want to help.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's our dope person in history, and that is our show. So Stacey, if people are looking for you, how can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram at MSGIVNZ, Ms. Givens.
Nicely done. All right, we'll get that up in the show notes and make sure that people connect with you, and definitely tune in to Through My Lens when that launches. In the meantime, if you are watching this, please save and like and share and do all of those good things and make sure that people know about this podcast. But if you also have somebody who should be a guest on this podcast, please get in contact with me and we will get them on. Stacey, it's been a great having you on. I hope you had fun.
I did. I had a great time. Thanks, Hayden. I appreciate it.
Excellent, excellent. And we will be back next week with a new dope person. But until then, y'all go forth and be dope. Bye.